The top stories for the hour. Prime Minister Abiy says medium and high dams to be inaugurated soon for energy and irrigation. And the Tana Forum concludes by calling for power through prosperity and economic renewal. Hello and very warm welcome to ABC World, the voice of Pan-Africanism, with the news. I'm Biniam Getana along with the editor Kasaun Chane and the technical crew. Stick around now, the news in full. Medium and high dams for energy and irrigation will be inaugurated and put into operation in the coming months, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed said. The Prime Minister made the remarks while presiding over discussions with members of the Council of Ministers at the Koisha Hydroelectric Dam project in southwest Ethiopia this week. The visit was part of the assessment of the macroeconomic performance of the first 100 days of the 2018 Ethiopian calendar and provided an opportunity to review progress on national development projects. According to the Prime Minister, the Somali Regional State Irrigation Project, the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam and the Welmer Irrigation Development Projects are among the recently inaugurated initiatives. He indicated that many other small and large-scale projects are being completed under strong monitoring and supervision. He highlighted that the newly inaugurated and completed dams demonstrates Ethiopia's potential for innovation and creativity, stressing that the country must continue to innovate, create and work hard to achieve its development objectives. The Prime Minister also underscored that projects awaiting inauguration in the future reflects the importance of national efforts, noting that no country can change without the dedication and contribution of its citizens. Meanwhile, Ethiopia remains unwavering in its peaceful pursuit of direct seaport access, a goal central to its sovereignty, security and survival. Field Marshal Birhanu Jula, Chief of Staff of the Ethiopian National Defense Force, reaffirmed during the 180th Ethiopian National Defense Force Day celebrations at the Naval Training School under the theme An Invisible Nation, An Invisible Army. He underscored that Ethiopia's quest for maritime access will be achieved lawfully and through dialogue, not confrontation. Field Marshal Birhanu Jula said Ethiopia has overcome decades of internal strife and external interference designed to keep it divided and impoverished. With a united army, a determined people and visionary leadership, he noted the nation is breaking free from the grip of stagnation and moving confidently toward lasting peace, prosperity and access to the sea, a strategic necessity for national growth and resilience. Echoing this stance, Vice Admiral Kundu Genzu, commander of the Ethiopian Navy, affirmed that the Navy stands ready to safeguard the country's maritime interests and development goals. He stressed that access to the sea and a strong naval force are inseparable pillars of Ethiopia's future, rooted in history and guided by principle of fairness, reciprocity and regional cooperation. Both leaders underscored that Ethiopia's pursuit remains peaceful, cooperative and grounded in its unwavering commitment to national sovereignty. As the news continues, the 11th Tana High-Level Forum on Security in Africa, where discussions centered on peace and stability in the Horn of Africa with leaders underscoring the importance of collective regional action, was wrapped up here today. Participants called on African nations to unleash the power of local entrepreneurship and investment, highlighting several mega projects like the Ethiopian Airlines as a proof of that African-built institutions can soar globally, creating jobs, partnerships and prosperity rooted in the continent. Our staff reporter, Yersalim Baza, takes us through that.
Held under the theme Africa in the Changing Global Order, the 11th Dana Forum brought together former heads of state, ministers, diplomats and experts from across the continent, all focused on one question: how can Africa claim a more strategic and beneficial role in the evolving global system?
The main issue right now is that Africa is not just a recipient of the changes in the global order. There are changes in the global order, they seem to be here already. So there are changes in the way states have been relating to each other, the multilateral institutions, the way multilateral institutions are functioning, and the way states are, some states are blatantly actually violating some of the international laws that they themselves have helped set up. So the relevance of the forum in this sense for Africa is that Africa shapes its own voice in this setting. It's not just a recipient or a victim of the changes that are happening, but Africa actually steps in, steps up, and shapes its own voice and shapes its position, not just in relation to others, but also in relation to what it wants, particularly what is good for itself, what is good for its people.
Over the course of the discussions, participants exchanged perspectives on peace, security and development, calling for African-led and African-owned solutions to the continent's challenges. Speaking to EBC World, Maureen Etching, IGAD's representative to the African Union, emphasized that homegrown approaches are proving more effective than externally imposed ones, citing Ethiopia as a strong example of African-driven peace efforts.
Ethiopia is hosting the forum. That's an incredibly important contribution from the government of Ethiopia. And of course, Ethiopia also hosts the African Union, and the African Union's guiding principle is that of promoting African solutions to African peace and security challenges. So, Ethiopia's role in all of this is evident for all to see, I would say.
Similarly, Mercy Fikadu, director of the Institute for Peace and Security Studies at Addis Ababa University, underscored that the African Union's growing experience in peace mediation and conflict resolution offers a valuable model for the continent.
Recently, we have seen how peace agreements can be negotiated and are negotiated through the facilitation of African institutions. And there are many, African conflicts currently that could benefit from a similar African-led solution. So yes, so the lesson in that is that, one, the country's first choice becomes continental institutions instead of seeking solutions elsewhere. So this basically asserts, I think, a very basic point where without us, without including us Africans, sustainable solutions cannot be crafted. So Ethiopia's experience in peacemaking, I think, is a reflective of that. Sustainable solutions requires commitment from the country itself. And this is true for any other, country or conflict that we're currently experiencing on the continent.
At the closing ceremony, former Malawian President Dr. Josie Banda, who serves on the Dana Forum board, urged Africans to strengthen platforms for collaboration and shared progress, stressing that unity remains the foundation for sustainable development.
The world is changing, and Africa must respond with purpose, confidence, and imagination. Second, there's a broad consensus on the agency of implementation. The ideas, commitments, and policy pathways that emerge from the Dana Forum must be translated into visible action. Strengthened institutions and measurable impact. Third, we have reaffirmed the centrality of Africa's youth in all our endeavors. Their innovation, creativity, and resilience are vital to realizing the continent's aspirations. It is through their energy and ideas that Africa's future will be defined and sustained.
At the forum concluded, delegates agreed that Africa's advancement must be anchored in economic empowerment rather than political rhetoric. They called for investment in local industries, responsible partnerships, innovation, and education to unlock the potential of Africa's youth. Speakers also cautioned that without unity, resilience and inclusive leadership, Africa risks being sidelined in the new global order. The consensus, the continent's future depends on proactive peace building, equitable resource management, and greater participation of women and young people in leadership.
Finally, Ethiopia's parliament has reaffirmed that the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam is more than a national power project. It is a living symbol of Ethiopia's foreign policy built on cooperation, mutual benefit, and shared regional progress. Deputy Speaker Lomi Bedo said the GERD not only lights homes across Ethiopia but also connects nations through clean energy and sustainable development, adding that the country's diplomacy seeks growth not in isolation but in partnership with its neighbors. Parliamentary leaders stressed that the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam embodies Ethiopia's right to fair and responsible use of its natural resources, challenging outdated colonial-era treaties that exclude most Nile Basin countries. Awek Ameze, Deputy Chair of the Water and Environment Committee, dismissed claims that the dam would harm downstream nations, noting that it generates hydroelectric power without consuming water, a model of equitable and environmentally sound development. Echoing this, Fatih Mahdi and Abebao Desalo highlighted that Ethiopia's development vision already extends beyond its border. The country exports power to Kenya and supplies clean water to Djibouti. And now we recap of the top stories once again. Prime Minister Abiy says medium and high dams to be inaugurated soon for energy and irrigation. And Dana Forum concludes by calling for power through prosperity and economic renewal. You've been watching EBC World, the voice of Pan-Africanism from the capital, Addis Ababa. Thank you for your company. Stay connected with all the latest developments from EBC World. Goodbye and enjoy the rest of the program.